Jamie first, and so it is my pleasure to introduce to you Jamie Peretic Kohler. I thought I would pull out my advising file from the old days. Yeah. And here are my notes from summer orientation 2000, where Jamie, and we're talking about the career path. Jamie said she was maybe interested in education, but didn't know what level, and was also pre-law. Okay, obviously her path took her in different directions. I think part of my job as introducer is to get you pumped up to hear from the speaker.
It's not to terrify the speaker.
So here is one of my letters of rec for Jamie, who I find it very easy to write on behalf of this tremendously bright, capable, mature, hardworking, good-natured, and perceptive young woman. And I go on, and she was a double major, double POE, history and English. And this is a letter to a grad program, and I said here at the end, rest assured, you will not be admitting some one-dimensional nerdy geek ill at ease with society. Ms. Peretic, often surrounded by a knot of friends, is president of the student dance ensemble, and she sings in the college community choir, right? She is thoughtful, but also spontaneous, good-natured and considerate, quick to laugh, and serious about serious topics. And I could think of, your name immediately came to our minds as when we were thinking about who to invite. And so let me turn it over to you, Jamie.
What an introduction.
Well, thank you. That was quite nice of you to say all those wonderful things about me. I'm so surprised you still have that stuff. It's amazing. My archivist's heart is very pleased. You've preserved that history. So I don't know. I'm going first. So please let me know if you want me to talk about anything in particular. You kind of know everything about me at Juniata at this point so far. I loved my time at Juniata. It was an amazing experience. When I got there in fall of 2000, I thought maybe I wanted to be a teacher or maybe a lawyer, but that didn't turn out to be the case. Turns out I tried being a teacher in real life, and I interned with a lawyer and decided that really wasn't what I wanted to do at all. And I don't think I really had a good idea until almost my senior year that I was even interested in librarianship and libraries and archives. It really took a long time to try to figure out what it was I was interested in. I think working with the librarians at Juniata was actually one of the things that helped me kind of steer in that direction. Doing research for history papers and that sort of thing in the library, right? And seeing how helpful that they could be, and seeing how they worked with students. I mean, that definitely influenced what I ended up deciding to do. So I'm currently sometimes I don't know how these things happen. I'm currently the director of the library at Westminster College, which is a lot like Juniata in many ways. Small, liberal arts, kind of located in more of a rural area. Yeah. So it's a kind of a similar kind of place. And I think, part of the reason I've ended up there is because I had such a positive experience at Juniata. I really think that, it was a great experience, and not just in terms of the education, definitely that. Such wonderful professors, really. But also in terms of the way that the kind of school that Juniata is, really prepares you for doing some random things. I've done some random things, and have been prepared for, well, semi-prepared.
Tell us some of the random stuff.
Some of the things. So, okay. So, I went to, after Juniata, I went to graduate school at the University of Pittsburgh, for library and information science. So through the course of that education, I was able to sort of narrow down a little bit more of what I thought I was interested in. I thought maybe I was interested in archives. Being a history major, of course, I was definitely interested in that piece of it. I was like, oh, okay, I'm going to do archives. This is great. I love research. I love looking at old things. History rocks. So let's do archives. And then I did an internship in an archives, and then I missed people. I missed talking. It was really not what I thought it was going to be, having tried it. And I was like, okay, no, not archives in particular. Let's try academic libraries. And that ended up being where I sort of settled by the end of grad school. In terms of the different kinds of jobs that exist in academic libraries, I think I've done all of them. I think I've worn all the hats that there are. I started out as an interlibrary cataloging. I did access services. I did systems, electronic resources, reference. One of my positions at one point was I was the archives and special collections librarian, which was a fun job. Uh-oh, it says my internet connection is unstable. Hopefully that won't cause any problems. So in terms of sort of diverse, when I was mentioning Juniata prepares you for a lot of things, right? I've done all the things. We joke that a lot of job descriptions say at the bottom, and other duties as assigned. That's what I've done in my sort of career so far as a librarian. All the other duties as assigned. One of the things I like the best, I think, about being a librarian, about the job that I have now, and then the jobs that I've done before, is actually working with students on their research. That is really rewarding, especially when you get to help someone do something really good stuff. And I hate to say that I'm a little bit biased towards the history people, but I think maybe I am. I really like helping history people with their research. So yeah, a lot of different kinds of jobs in libraries exist, and I think I've done all of them.
Is there something, knowing what you know now, is there something you wish you had done or taken at Juniata as maybe advice to current students?
Yeah, I think so. I think there's nothing that I wouldn't have taken. I don't think. I don't think there's anything that was like not useful, if that makes sense. But I think since I did the double major thing, I don't know that I would have done that. I think maybe I would have stuck with one major and had the flexibility to take some of the really fun classes that I didn't have time to squeeze in, right? So what was the one? Now I'm not going to remember the title of it, but I still regret not taking the one about the food in the South. Jim Tucci. Well, is that still around? That course?
It's still
it's still two courses now.
It's 2 courses now?
Like a second serving almost.
I wish I would have been able to take that. My friend Carol Longenecker, she was in it, and she made me jealous of that one. So like things like that. There were just, I think I would have given myself more flexibility to take the things I was really interested in and passionate about, as opposed to the things that checked off the boxes.
Okay.
Good advice.
What else do you want to know? Anything in particular?
Well,
Can I just to circle back to a point you made earlier, Jamie, you mentioned that you had that internship, and what it taught you is well, you had two internships you mentioned, really, the law one and one archival one. And
Yeah.
so one of the things that you can get from an internship is figuring out what you don't want to do.
Yes. Oh, hello, other people in the room. Yeah, I think this is advice my mother gave me that I advise, at Westminster, they call them exploratory students. So, you know, the undecided majors. I serve as an advisor to those students, and I always tell them, my mother always said, and the older I get, the more I think she was right about a lot of things. Knowing what you don't want to do is almost as important as knowing what you do want to do.
Yes.
There's a lot of things. If you can rule something out, that helps. That helps a lot.
you also studied abroad while here, right?
I did. And I would recommend that to anyone all the time, every time.
What's so great about studying abroad?
Well, you get to live somewhere really cool and do lots of cool things. And I would say eat lots of cool food, but I was in England and I don't think that's really true about England. I was really tired of mushy peas by the end. I don't like mushy peas. Never liked mushy peas. And
Since you graduated, we have Allison Fletcher, who's from England.
there you go. I had a wonderful time in England. Don't get me wrong. It was fantastic. We traveled all the time. Just, you know, it is a different culture despite us all speaking the same language, mostly speaking the same language, at least. I texted not if we have time for an unrelated story. When I was there was a supermarket that was kind of far away, and we had to walk to the supermarket, and it was carrying groceries back to the dorm they were heavy, and the other students, the British students, kept telling me, well, you have to take the trolley. And I was like, what? Trolley? There's no trolley. I was like, Mr. Rogers, trolley, take it to the supermarket. There was no trolley. Trolley means shopping cart. It's the same thing. They wanted me to take a shopping cart, not an actual trolley. And it took me weeks to figure that out.
Which university were you at?
Lincoln.
Okay, lovely.
Okay, great. Do we have any students there right now?
I
I don't think so.
don't think this minute.
Okay, okay. All right, well, I'm supposed to keep track of time, so there'll be plenty of time for questions once everyone is presented, okay? So we'll get back to you, Jamie.
Okay, great.